Good evening, ladies and gentlemen and board members. This is the Carver Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for the date of May 8th, 2024. We are in Carver Town Hall in meeting room 1, and filming us tonight, live streaming, I think maybe for the first time, is Area 58. We're happy to have them, as always. Now, it is our custom as a board to go to administrative matters first, at least as much as we are able. And the first issue that we will need to cover is approval of the meeting minutes from our previous meeting of April 3, 2024. It is customary for me to send these minutes out via email to all members in advance of the meeting on which we are going to be voting, so that we don't waste any time and have everybody staring at us while we read through 3 pages of single-spaced notes, in this case 2. So I want to inquire of board members if they have received these meeting minutes and if they've had an opportunity to review them.
Yes.
Yes.
Does anyone have any amendments, modifications, or changes that they would like to make?
No.
Do I hear a motion?
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
And Mr. Barrington is leaping to
Second.
the floor for the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Now, we have a somewhat busy docket tonight. We have 3 cases. We try to take as much time as is appropriate for each case. The first case that we're going to go to tonight is a continued case. It is case number 125-19-2-R. The petitioner is Jeffrey Benoit. Is Jeffrey here? I see Jeffrey there with his crutch. Hope you're feeling better.
As long as he doesn't hit me with it.
Okay. Mr. Benoit is seeking a special permit pursuant to sections 2250, 5221, and 5300, and sections following of the Carver zoning bylaw to reconstruct a single-family residence on a pre-existing non-conforming lot for property located at 48 Cranberry Road in Carver. This property may be found at Assessor's Map 125, Lot 19-0-R, in a residential agricultural district. Now, I have observed in the past with regard to this case that I have, until very recently, been communicating with counsel for Mr. Benoit on a case that has no relationship whatsoever to this one. But I am mindful of the fact that there are 2 kinds of conflicts of interest. One is the actual conflict of interest, where you know somebody and maybe have a financial interest in what is being proposed. And then, of course, there is an appearance of a conflict, where maybe people might think that I might not be impartial because I'm friendly with a professional colleague. I certainly am friendly with Attorney Hale, who is counsel for Mr. Benoit. I recognize he's a very competent local attorney, and our paths have crossed, as I said, quite recently on a case. So I have recused myself on this matter. We have a board that will still be a full board because our alternate, Ms. Dahl, will be a voting member on this case, and I know she's ready. So I'm going to step down and turn this meeting over to Ms. Mello, the vice chair, who is very capable. So if you want to move over to this chair, or you can sit right where you are if you'd like, because I will be vacating this chair right now.
We're going to miss you.
I'm going to be right over there.
All right. Can the petitioner and Attorney Hale please come up? Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good.
Great. We have a bit delayed on this. I think this was originally filed in July, and due to medical problems with my client, we've had to continue it. And so we're here tonight. And I have to say my client is a trooper. Just had a total hip replacement 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
So I think, does everybody have the application with the
Yes.
attachments?
Yes.
What this is 48 Cranberry Road. It had an old, it's a kind of an odd-shaped lot. It's like a very small piece of a pie.
Yep.
It does have a Title V system on it that was just recently put in. Has never been used, obviously, and the well is the appropriate distance away from that. But what happened was, and my client didn't realize that it was improper for him. He actually tore down the existing structure, but the foundation was still there, and that's exactly what he wants to build on. There's a note that I had that from somebody who had viewed the thing previously that said the outside of the old residence was in terrible shape, the inside was okay. So what he wants to do is, and I think you'll see the plans, the proposed plans in the application itself, he's looking to use the same foundation and then put on for all intent and purposes, a two-story. It's almost really more like the raised cape, where on the ground floor he would have a bedroom, a bathroom, and a recreation room. And on the first floor, the upper one, he would have the bedroom, bathroom, as well as a kitchen and the living room. The reason why he wanted to have the two living areas was he intended to have his daughter living there with him, and she would have the lower level and he would have the upper level. That may not even be the case now. He may be just occupying that by himself. But what I have to say is that I certainly submit that the proposed structure fits well within sections 2250 as well as 2252 and 2254. It's going to really, from what would have been
Before we
old,
talk about the structure,
I'm sorry?
before we talk about the structure itself, I'm questioning whether this should be a special permit or a variance.
Well, we would certainly prefer a variance. And I think it still falls within what the requisites for a variance.
Well, it's a non-conforming lot. And from what I can see, or what I looked in a little bit, I looked at, the timeline of the lot,
Yep.
who owned it previously, the condition of the structure that was there. And I would say that this building falls under 2255, which is abandonment or non-use. All right, 2255 says a non-conforming use or structure which has been abandoned or not used for a period of 2 years shall lose its protected status and be subject to all of the provisions of the zoning bylaws. Which means we've now gone from a special permit to reconstruct to a total, we're looking at a non-conforming lot, and we've got to start from ground zero.
Well, again, if it's easier to get the special permit versus a variance, then, we'd certainly opt to get the special permit. As far as the non-use is concerned, our answer to that is that it has been used for storage, both by the previous owner and the current owner, and so therefore, I think it does comply with section 2255.
Do you have any proof of that?
I'm sorry?
Do you have any proof? Do you have any pictures? Do you have a real estate listing? Do you have any pictures of what Mr. Benoit bought?
I don't have one of the existing structure. No, I do not, no.
The previous
The
structure?
previous structure.
No. Because I went on to Google Earth, and in 2009, and these pictures are not very good, I have to be honest, but anybody can go on to Google Earth and see them. In 2009, you can clearly, not here, but you can see a structure. And the structure is in very bad condition. Holes in the wall, holes in the roof. I mean, it's definitely not a structure, in my opinion. So there was something there in 2009. In 2019, there does not appear to be any structure there. Nothing. And Mr. Benoit bought the property in 2021.
Correct.
Which means he bought a piece of property with no structure.
Did you?
There was a structure on it. I took it down. I hastily did it. I wanted to get my daughter out of the situation, along with the fact that I knew I had some medical issues. I hastily took it down upon Paul, the previous building inspector, because I wouldn't have bought it. I'm not a dummy. I'm not going to buy something if I didn't think I could build on it. So when Paul, the other building inspector, said, okay, show me something. I got plans. I took it down, yes. I was hasty. I wanted my daughter to go to the school up here, the emergency school up here, to get something and get her out of the city. In the meantime, she had an attempted rape on her and everything else. It probably, you know, I just wanted to get her out of the area. So I took the building down, and I have a stamp, an engineered stamp on the actual foundation that's there. Yes, it's non-conforming, but there's a lot of, as I took a ride around today, and there's plenty of stuff around. I'm looking at spending a lot of money to build something nice, and have her, you know, if I can rescue her at this point, even a year's gone by, so I have, it's got a septic, it's got a well, it's got power. I'm doing all the right things. I'm not going to put up a shanty.
Mr. Benoit, do you have any construction licenses?
Yes,
So you do realize that you need permits?
correct. I jumped the gun. Yes, I did. I'd be more than glad to pay double the permit and be punished or whatever.
It has now become, in my opinion, a non-conforming lot. I think
Right.
you bought a non-conforming
Yes.
lot. It's not grandfathered,
Okay,
which
I-
means you've got to start from ground zero.
correct. And that's why I got, you know.
So it's no
I-
longer a variance, it's a special permit.
Okay, okay,
I'm sorry, it's no longer a special permit, it's a variance,
okay.
which means you would be looking for lot size relief,
Okay.
60,000 square feet, and how big is your lot?
I'm not exactly
It's
sure. It's
probably about-
3/4 of an acre.
Does 24,058, does that
That's
sound about right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So you need more than 30,000 square feet relief. It's 13 feet off of the road. The bylaws call for 50. we can go down and look at the lot, but before we go any further, I think that before we talk about the structure, I think we need to look at the lot.
Okay.
Well, ma'am, is it possible to amend the application for special permit to that for variance? Because I think we fit into all the criteria for variance here. We certainly have hardship all the way through.
We can discuss that after we look at the lot. We have done that in the past. We had a case about a year and a half ago where it came in under a special permit, same thing.
Yep.
The difference is that lot was in a neighborhood with conforming size lots already established, and there was a structure there. So I think before we talk about size of the structure or anything else, we need to see the lot.
Okay.
Do you guys want to ask any questions about what's been shown so far?
So do we know when the building was actually taken down? Do we have a year?
Last year,
Last year?
correct.
Before you submitted all of your paperwork? So like
I'm
March?
sorry, I couldn't hear you, ma'am.
So March of last year?
I would say more like June.
June of 2023?
Pretty
That's
sure.
about right, because the application for the special permit was dated in July, so that's about right.
Did you have a stop work order
Yes.
from the building
Yes.
inspector?
Yes,
Could you find out the date on that?
sure,
Okay.
sure.
So my understanding also too is that because this application was made as a special permit and now it's going to be a variance, they have to reapply, right? I mean,
They
no,
don't have to.
they don't have to.
No.
Okay.
If you look up 12 Pond View Way, it came in the same way.
Okay.
It came in as a special permit, because I believe that was the direction you were given from the building inspector, correct?
Yes.
To apply for a special permit.
Yes.
Yes. Where, from my point of view, a special permit would not apply in this case.
Is there a basement under that foundation?
It's, I looked at it before I bought it, and being in the building trades, there wasn't any cracks in the foundation, it has a nice footing. I have an engineered stamp from an engineer. I've got pretty much everything I need. I'm pretty sure we have it, right, somewhere.
I have here somewhere the...
I mean, anything I needed to get from the building inspector, and that was the previous building inspector, mind you, I got it all, and then, for some reason,
If
he
you'd,
left.
excuse me, I
But-
have a certification from the PE, George Nemi PE, certifying basically that the foundation wall is strong. I'd certainly be happy.
Thank you.
So does it have a full basement? Or is it just the foundation?
Just a slab?
There's just a foundation.
With a
I didn't-
slab.
I didn't put any,
Okay.
I didn't put any more concrete. As soon as I got a stop work order, I stopped.
Okay.
But again, Mr. Benoit, you are a licensed contractor and you are working on a property without proper permits.
I'm not denying that. I mentioned the reason, and it's my daughter,
We've got several of those.
Yeah, actually.
Oh, they're not copies? I didn't, I thought it was a packet.
I have copies of the Google Maps for you if you
Oh,
would
yeah.
like them.
Thank you.
So I have a picture of it today,
Okay?
a picture of it from 2019 where it's obvious that there is no structure there. And if you go, there's a picture from 2009 where you actually can see a totally dilapidated structure.
Okay, fine, very good, thank you.
Okay.
If I may just make a few more
Yep.
observations. I understand very well that he jumped the gun on this, and mea culpa, but what this is going to, right now, the lot looks terrible, and you'll see it when you're there. What he is proposing to put on will significantly improve the looks of the neighborhood. We even have the budding neighbor, David Piper III, who I've talked to, and he said he'd be very willing to see this structure put up. So I agree. I mean, obviously, I'd rather have a variance than a special permit because it runs with the land. And so if we can continue that in vain, I'd be very happy.
Okay. Any other questions from the board before we, let's find a time to do a site walk, and then I'm going to let you speak. Okay. Our next meeting is May 29th, I believe.
Yep,
I'd like to do it before the next meeting.
agreed.
So we have the 11th, the 18th, and the 25th for a Saturday.
I'm not available on the 18th.
I'm not
Okay?
available on the 26th.
The 25th. That leaves the 11th or a day during the week. I'm available all the
I'm
time.
available this Saturday.
This Saturday?
That's right?
That's the
Okay.
11th.
Yeah,
Jen?
that
I
good?
can be.
everybody?
Yeah,
9
Okay.
o'clock?
9 o'clock.
yeah.
9
All
o'clock
right.
Saturday morning,
Yep.
sir? Yes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I don't think, it doesn't look like you're going to be going anywhere too fast anyway with that.
No, I haven't put any turbos on
Yeah.
these things.
But you are going to get the quality of your life back. My wife had 2 of those, so you're
Yeah.
going to
I'm
feel
really
much
hoping
better.
for the best.
As they say, there's nothing like replacement parts.
Yes.
Mr. Benoit, I would like you to see if you have any pictures of the structure
Oh.
that was
I have-
there.
Well, I have all the things that I did on my phone. I mean, I can print them
Good, we'll
out.
print them
All
up
the
and
what?
Provide them.
All the things I did on my phone, I can print them out.
I want to see the structure,
Okay.
all right?
Oh, originally.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have those. I'll try to see.
If we
if I
can
do.
find something, we will certainly
Yeah.
provide them.
Okay. And then, would you also think about the timeline? When you bought the property, when you took the structure down, when you got the stop work order from the
Sure.
building inspector,
Sure.
all right? Anything else for the moment?
Would you want either my client or me at that site review, or?
I would prefer, yes, someone be there. Yep. All
So
right.
that, what day was that again?
9 o'clock this Saturday.
Okay. Very good.
All right.
Is there a
Thank you.
driveway to get in there?
Pardon?
Is there a driveway to get in there?
Absolutely.
On whereabouts? Is it on the Cranberry Road side?
Cranberry Road.
Okay.
There's one behind it too. There's a right of way behind there. It's that small one.
You got the pie like this, you got the Cranberry
this
Road,
really
you got
2
this
inches.
right away here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Someone in the audience want to speak?
Just 2 things on this topic. That structure over my entire life.
Sir, come on up here and really sit and make sure you
Give us your name
who
and
you are.
address.
Yeah.
Yep. David George Piper III from 41 Cranberry Road. This structure has been there my entire life. So for 45 years, it's slowly gone in on itself. I remember it as that structure was standing when Jeff bought it. and maybe the trees have continued to grow along there, so maybe it's harder to see. I'd like to examine the pictures, but.
Yep, you can
Not
find
for
them on
nothing.
Google.
But yeah,
Yep.
as far as I remember it, being right across the street, the structure was standing with, because I had talked to Mr. Fielding about purchasing it and flirted with the idea of purchasing it as well, and was negotiating with DAD to see if I could possess some more square footage there. That's also part of a funny, I want to say it has something to do with the Atwoods, but maybe an in-law of the Atwoods owns a funny amount of land that's there in between that and Miles Standish Drive. I had done a fair amount of research on it, but this was years ago before Jeff.
Yep,
But I guess, and secondly, I'd like to say that myself and the Santa Piers are the ones who have lived in that area for the last 50 years, and we're very much looking forward to something happening there that would be beneficial to all of us.
You don't happen to have any pictures of it, would you?
I don't know, I was sitting here thinking that as well. I wouldn't, it wasn't really a very picture-worthy lot, to be honest,
Right.
but I might have it in and of at my house taking pictures of the cranberry bogs in front. I might have some pictures for you, or the Santa Piers might, so I can check with them.
okay,
If I could produce them, I'll bring them, get them to
Perfect.
Jeff for Saturday for you guys, but that's all.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So this is continued generally, I assume?
Yes, so
Okay.
we will go on the site walk on the 11th, and then we will reconvene on May 29th.
Fine, thank you.
Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we need to make a motion to continue it, or are we good?
Oh. Do we need to make a motion to continue it?
Probably twice.
All right. Do I hear a motion to continue?
Motion to continue.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Continue to March 29th.
Too much.
I mean,
Nay,
May
nay,
29th.
nay.
Make a note. Thank you for stepping up, Ms. Mello. Next case on our list for this evening is yet another continued matter. Case number 56-206-0-R, the petitioner being Christopher Mahoney, requesting a dimensional variance pursuant to sections 2320, 2245B, and 5222 of the Carver zoning bylaw for property located at 18 Ransom Street in Carver, Assessor's Map 56, Lot 206-0-R, so as to build a 45 by 12 square foot RV port structure in a residential agricultural district. A variance is being requested due to the need for north side setback relief of approximately 18 feet, whereas 30 feet is required under the bylaw due to the proposed structure being greater than 1 story, and front setback relief of approximately 24 feet, whereas 50 feet is required under the bylaw. Nice to see you again, Mr. Mahoney. So, you have provided to the board an updated plan. Is that true?
Yes, sir, with 2 options on it.
Okay, does everybody have a copy of that
Yep.
plan? And Mr. Mahoney, since you're responsible for bringing that to our attention, why don't you speak to it? How does this differ?
The
How does
first
this
option
differ
is
than
in
the
the-
first time you came
The
before us?
first option is in the same location, but it's just shortening the RV port to conform with the 50-foot frontage. Like I explained to the board before, my house and garage is not square with the property itself. It's not perfectly perpendicular. So that plan that you folks have is a certified plan from a land surveyor that's been stamped back in, I don't know, 100 years ago. On one of my other jobs, I did land surveying, so I set the bounds, it was stamped, and so every measurement you see there is off of my CAD. So that line that I projected there is my frontage, like the outermost corner. If you're looking at the left side of the garage, I have 50 feet frontage there, so I projected a line out And if I was to take and cut that driveway on the side of the lot all the way back to my fence line, that would give me 35 feet to that 50-foot mark. So I would live with 35-foot cover, maybe 5 feet of the camper sticking out, cover with a, you know what I mean? That's kind of that's my easiest goal. And then someone else from the board, you know, looking at the plan said, what about out back? And at the time, it was kind of impossible in my head, but I went back and I did some figuring. I could make that happen, and I could stick with the 45 feet out back. I would need rear lot and side lot, a little forgiveness there, and then, of course, the height. So I'm kind of leaving it up to what you folks think is the best. I mean, it's the back portion option you see there is more work. It's as far as I cut some tree limbs, but I've talked to my neighbor, and he's good with any of the trees that may be rooted in his yard, but the limbs hang over mine. He's good with me cutting them. So it's just a little bit more work for me, but I'm kind of leaving it to your input. I just want to protect my investment. And
Mr. Mahoney, is any part of what you propose still going to be in front of your house?
no. If I cut it down to 35 feet, that projected line would still give me 50 feet frontage.
And the port will not be in any way, shape, manner, and form in front of your house?
It will not pass the most outer point of my garage, the house. So I guess if you're calling that the house, because I remember I went through this when I had to build a garage, where the house isn't perpendicular to the frontage. So the closest point is my farthest point away from where the RV port would be. That's 50 feet. And then, so I projected a line, I think we spoke of this at the last meeting,
We did.
as long as I stay within that 50 line. So in essence, the front of it would look like it's past my house a little bit, but it's not past my garage.
Which is attached to your house?
It's a detached garage, but when I went for that zoning, that had to be in the same plane for frontage. The garage is in front of the house per se.
Okay, you've answered my questions.
Yeah.
Ms. Mello, I know you had some concerns about this the first go-around,
Yep.
so I want to inquire whether you'd like to ask any questions.
If, where it is right now, in the front,
Yep.
the revised plan, would you need side lot relief?
Side lot, no.
No.
No. I
And it's
guess I need
50
the relief
feet
for the height.
off the road?
Yes.
Yeah.
That projected line
Yep.
that I put there is 50 feet from the
So
lot line.
if he puts it where he's looking at it now, I don't think he needs anything from us.
Yeah, because you have sufficient side lot footage
Have the 10 feet.
per the bylaw.
Just wasn't sure about the height.
So is the height taller than your house?
No, it's just, it was, you guys considered it more than one story, so I don't know what,
I think it can't be taller than
The height.
the height of your house.
yeah, no.
So if it's
Yeah, well,
It's
not
gonna
as,
be close, it's not taller.
Okay.
And unfortunately, the manufacturer gives me a varied height due to grade situation, and he's telling me it's gonna be less than I thought.
okay,
So my main concern is the clearance, obviously, for the camper, and where the gussets and the supports would be. So when I explained this to him, when I was begging him to hold my deposit, he said, no, that's gonna be less, it's just we have to put the worst-case scenario on the plan in case the grade isn't level or there's some
Okay.
variances, so.
and in your option 2, it shows you overlapping with an existing building. Will you have to remove this building?
Can I?
Yeah,
For option number two.
yeah, the one on the side there, you got it
Overlapping.
covering up.
That isn't a building, that's a trailer.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know if that's just, when they came and did an as-built for one of my plans, they just located it.
Oh.
In the floor building, but it's actually it's a trailer.
Okay.
It's an old concession trailer that I use for storage.
Okay. Thank you.
No, you're
Once
fine.
again, how tall is the port?
It's a 16.
I believe he told me it's gonna be like a little bit over 16 feet. I thought it
It
was
says
gonna be over
16
7.
and
Yeah, it
one,
says
16 feet 2 inches on the, yeah,
Okay.
it's written on the.
All right, so I did write on there after. I wasn't sure if I talked to him before or after I revised
This
it.
says maximum height is 30 to 40, so height should be an issue,
It's fine.
right?
Ms. Mello draws my attention to the grids for
Dimensional tables.
dimensional tables for situations such as this. It appears, based upon your presentation this evening, which is quite a bit different than the one that you presented to us initially, that you will not need the side lot relief that we thought you might need initially.
Yeah.
Is that something that everybody understands?
Okay.
It's a separate structure, which means 10 feet is the side
okay,
lot.
got it.
If it was attached to the house, it's a 30-foot side lot.
So is everybody good with that assumption, that there's no side lot relief that's necessary?
I have a
Scaled it
question.
at 12 feet, so
Yeah.
when I staked it, I staked it up
Get
to
you
scale
that.
at 12 feet. So I should be good on the side lot.
Good, good.
Which option do you prefer?
Well, I like the full cover, you know, because I'm spending the money on the, I
Right.
like the full cover. It's just, I'd need the relief on the side lot. I'd need to be 5 and 5
For option 2?
for option 2, and I'd have to do a little bit more work on my driveway just to be able to build straighten out and back in straight, because again, the house and the garage isn't perpendicular, so when
Right.
I'm backing up, I'm not backing up square to the building, I'm backing up at an angle.
Okay,
And I'm not afraid to do it, it's just, my wife's like, are you sure?
right, right.
And I was going to ask the same thing. It appears with option 1, you don't need anything, but option 2 covers your entire RV.
Yeah.
So it really, as far as I'm concerned, it kind of is what you prefer.
And I was going to say that it appears as if you don't need any front setback relief, which you originally thought you needed, or at least the building commissioner thought.
Yeah, well, I'm
So
sacrificing a little.
if those are now off the table, that you don't need side lot relief, right? And you don't need front setback relief, then I suppose you're going to have to decide which option you want to go with. But in terms of what we need to do, in terms of the exercise of our authority in this particular instance, I'm not sure that you need any relief from us. Should be music to your ears.
Yeah, but I also want to hear your opinion on if I wanted to go with option 2, what would you feel on going that?
Well, I think that's a personal decision, don't you think?
Yeah, and I just, if I'm spending the money on the port, you know what I mean? And it kind of forces me to get rid of some of my contracted junk that my wife's been after me, so it's, I don't know.
So now we know that there's another person's interest that's involved here, although she's not in the room right now.
Listen,
But we are live streaming this, so if she's tuned in, you better watch yourself.
I work the shift she wants me to work, and I do what she likes, and my life's good.
Happy life,
Yes.
happy wife.
Exactly.
Excellent answer.
So, I'm not sure that there's anything, as I just said, for us to decide, other than for you to, my advice would be to get together with the building commissioner again and say, okay, this is what I'm going with, and I've been told that I don't need side lot relief and I don't need front setback relief in view of the amendments that I've made to the plan. Fair?
Yes.
Fair?
If he takes
Unless he
option
wants to
number
go
Well,
with
you do
option 2.
option number 1. If you do option number 2, then you would need back inside
relief.
Right.
relief.
So,
Yep.
you know, you have to let us know. If it's,
Well, can we
if it's
discuss-
option 2, then, you know, we're going to have to intervene.
Right.
If it's option 1, see you later, best to you, and good luck.
Right.
Which one would your wife prefer?
Well, she'd prefer not to be able to see it. So, again, I'd like to explore the option of going option 2, just to see what your thoughts are, and if it's a possibility, if I could get relief for the side and the back.
Well, if you ask us for option number 2 and we say no, you always have option number 1.
That's what I figure, right? My phone a friend.
What do you want to do? What do you,
I mean,
do you want us to have a discussion about option number two?
Yes, sir, please.
Because
Okay.
we may end up saying no.
Okay. It's like the Shark Tank.
Okay, gang. Option two, what do you think? He's going to need side lot relief of how much?
Probably 5 feet. Instead of having 10 and 10, I'd need 5 and 5.
Have you talked?
And do you have a neighbor behind you?
Yeah,
I was gonna ask.
right, and the
I know
side as well?
you mentioned
Yes.
your side neighbor and
Yep.
said that he was good with it, but.
Yeah, most of his fence is on my property, so we've had a
Okay, so
mutual agreement.
your property is fully fenced?
The interior part, where the, our report, it's stockade on one side and it's like wire fence on the back. But
In the back.
it is fenced.
Okay. So do you have a neighbor behind you?
Yeah. There's a
Okay.
tree, there's my lot line, my concrete bound, which is his midpoint of his property line, and there's a tree line, and then my neighbor's house. So they're all half-acre lots in that neighborhood, so all
Okay.
pretty much the same thing.
So you
just
need 5
staggered.
feet on the setback, the side setback.
Yes, sir.
How much on the front setback?
The front to the street, I wouldn't need
Yes.
any. I mean,
No.
I'd
No, not the
be
front.
well,
You mean the
I'd
back,
probably
don't you?
be,
I mean the back, excuse
the
me.
back would be 5 to 6, the same way, yeah.
Okay.
Is it a 30-foot setback or a 10-foot setback? Under the
It would
rules?
be, well, I think it would be a 10 accessory structure, not
Yeah.
attached.
Okay.
Because it's not attached to anything.
Because it's
else.
not attached.
Yep.
Again,
Yep.
yep, same thing.
Okay.
Okay, gang, I defer to your comments at this point.
I have none.
Ms. Mello, who's been driving the discussion this night quite competently. Do you have
Your
any,
neighbors had no issues with?
do you have any
No,
questions
no
or
relationship
comments,
on
Ms.
that.
Mello?
Okay.
Well, they were all given notice that
I
this
was-
is going to, right? I mean,
right,
if anybody,
exactly.
I'm sure if there was a problem, you would see
Well,
some
I'm
people.
sure they thought in the beginning it was gonna be out front. too,
Right, well,
so-
yeah, that's what the notice says.
Yeah,
So the notice is different than the plan
then
now.
the plan is for option 2.
Does that pose a problem?
Well, this is the time to discuss.
Right.
If the notice is different than now the evolution of this plan, does this require action on our
The
part
abutters to be
to be
re-notified.
re-notified?
Because now it's different abutters.
Right? Quite true, Ms. Cullen. Quite true.
Though I would have thought everybody within a house or two on either side would have been notified anyway.
I believe in the past, when projects I've done in the past, it's, like my house would be ground zero, it's,
It's everybody.
those abutters still got notified.
Oh,
Anybody abutting your
that would
property
make
Yeah.
sense.
would be
Yeah,
notified.
sorry about that.
So,
So they were notified, but of the original plan, not the new and improved version.
yeah, I mean, this one is gonna be more, I'd say, I'd call it, the word I'd use is stealth in the back. I mean, there's a tree line there, and the only thing they're gonna look at is possibly the back of my camper, but it's gonna be a skewed view through pine trees, so that's not any of the branches I propose to limb, because I don't need to. I just need the ones where I'd be possibly backing down and rubbing against, that's all.
Ms. Cullum, any other observations?
No.
Mr. Barrington? Mr. Boyer
All
saying
set.
no. Ms. Dahl? Ms. Mello?
For myself, I do think that putting it in the back is less intrusive to the neighbors. You know, it's set behind your house, it's not in your front yard. So I'm with your wife. I like it out back.
I mean, when you brought that up the last time, I was thinking logistics, and it's hard to take a plan and look at it from bird's eye view and not see out the instructions. And I've been backing up trucks for years, I've been in the fire department for 35 years, so I'm not afraid of doing it, it's just, I was thinking about what entailed in it. And,
Yep.
and in the end of the day, once I clear it out and I do it, it's probably gonna be for the best. I get to cover the whole
Right.
camper,
Versus,
you know.
Yeah,
And again, the camper's parked in my front yard basically now. I'd rather just use that other driveway to throw a car over or something. I mean, I still have a lot of junk. I'm not gonna ever get rid of it all, because I'm always, my hand's into something, so. I just want it to look as neat and proper for my wife as I possibly can. I wanna be able to separate my work life and my
fun
stuff.
life.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think,
Put the
I think,
RV with the pool.
What's that?
That's all the fun stuff's in the backyard, the RV
Yeah.
and the pool.
well, and I was gonna say, I mean, aesthetically, I mean, if it was inside, it was completely inside, it would look pretty natural, but if in the front, if you've had a chunk of it sticking out, it would almost like draw your eye to it, more so than if it was
Yeah,
completely
like,
underneath.
What,
you know.
cheap out on a cover.
Okay,
So,
I'm good.
we're good.
So is it option 1 or option 2?
Approve them both.
We don't have to approve option one.
That's correct.
right,
We're talking about option two. Can I make a motion?
You may
Should we
make a-
close the hearing?
Okay.
I'll make a motion to close the hearing.
Second?
Wow, that was fast.
All those in favor?
Ms. Mello's got it going tonight.
It's been a long week.
So do we need to grant him any relief at all?
Yes.
yes.
For option 2, yes.
And that's what you want us to vote on, correct?
Please.
Because this hearing is now closed. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve option 2.
And let's specify for the record what that is, Ms. Cullen.
Oh, behind the house.
Well, there's,
Oh, I'm sorry. 5 feet on the side and relief of 5 feet on the side and 5 feet on the back.
and this is on what, is it the westerly side of the property?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So 5 feet on the westerly side of the property, that's the side, and in the back, 5 feet.
Yes,
That's what you're proposing.
yes.
That's your motion.
That's my motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
You can't second this, Ms. Dahl.
Come on.
Second,
Ms. Dahl is very sweet. She's our alternate. Not voting on this one, but as you see, she's feeling it tonight too, because she was voting on the first one. Okay. Is there any further discussion on this? Everybody understand what we're voting on? Ms. Miller, are you prepared to write the decision? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Your wife will be very happy. Tell her to watch the replay. You're a good husband. And thank you for playing by the rules.
Been invested in this community for 43 years, so.
Very good.
Well, not everybody sees it this way, you know, to play by the rules. Some people try to make their own rules.
I work in law all day long, so.
Okay, so does anybody need a break, or are we good to go on to our last case for the evening?
Keep it rolling.
Everybody good? Next case is a new one for us. This is case number 94-16-0-R, the petitioner being Daniel, is it Maul or Maul? Maul. Maul. Why don't you come up and sit in the chair while I finish the rest of this? Daniel Maul, who is starting a new business, or wants to start a new business called 3 Sips Brewing.
Yes, sir.
Love the name. He's seeking a special permit pursuant to sections 2230, 5221, and 5300, and the sections following of the Carver zoning bylaw for property located at 145 South Main Street, Unit B1-1. That's the correct unit now, is that true?
Yes, yep.
The assessors map on this is 94 lot 16-0-R to operate a brewery and food kitchen for an on-premises consumption in the general business district. I write these things, by the way, you know, this My brain explodes at night. But it's necessary from a legal standpoint to read this into the record and also publicize it and post it in Town Hall. We've done all of these things. So, based on what I've just read, Mr. Mull, could you tell the board, please, a little bit about your proposal and what you'd like to do?
Yep, so my brother and I, we've been brewing beer for about 6 years. It's become a little passion of ours, and we want to take it to the next level. We found that the location would be perfect. We love it. We think also where it's located, we could definitely revive the plaza a little bit. There's some great businesses in there now.
This is where the smokehouse used to be?
Yeah, yep.
What's your brother's name?
This is Nick. Sorry.
Nick Mall.
Yep.
Okay, Nick. Go ahead.
So yeah, we'll be a very small microbrewery, but we're trying to, it's not just gonna be all about the beer. We have my cousin here, Ben Fisher. He's a world-class chef. We're lucky to have him on our team and pursue
I
this
want you
with
to come over to my house when it's supper time.
us. Seriously. But yeah, he wants to do this venture with us, and we want to make it more of like a tap room experience. People can come and have a pint. We'll make amazing food to pair it. You can leave with some cans, and we plan to do a lot of fun stuff, little events.
Well, this
Stuff like
sounds
that.
very similar to the one on the other side of town, which is...
44?
Yes.
Yeah, we were just there, we met them.
Okay, and how is your operation going to be different in style from theirs? Because they're doing the same thing.
It's very, we're big on the aesthetic draw. We like, I do, you know, all the artwork, and I guess it'll be, we want to make a very comfortable setting. There's a lot of like when you walk into a brewery, it's very industrial-like. Not that that's a bad thing, but I think between the food, we have him in the kitchen, I think we'll really stand out that way. We're going to attract foodies too. It's a huge market. We're lucky to have Edaville Railroad right there. You know, we could, my brother-in-law here, Brian, he's very close with the owner of Edaville. He owns a soft wash company, to get our beer in there. Just to work with the community too. We plan on being a farmer brewery, so we'll use locally sourced ingredients. Any of our waste, we'd like to link up with local farmers, like, because it can make for livestock feed, pig feed, things like that.
Well, you have a lot of goals and a lot of dreams, and
Yeah.
I can't plaster forever. Fourth generation
so
plaster.
this
We're all blue
is all
collar
good
guys.
to hear. It's going to be a lot of work.
Sure. Oh,
So going to be a lot of work.
oh, yeah.
And a lot of these things don't succeed, as you know.
That's why we'll stand out. And
You hope.
we'll be one of the best.
All right, I have a few questions before I turn it over to the rest of the board members who are very loquacious tonight, and I want to get in my 2 cents. The special permit bylaw requires us to tick through a number of different subsections. 5330 and sections following, board members. Now, the first thing that I just quizzed you on, although you didn't think I was quizzing you probably, is 5331. That's the social, economic, or community needs which are served by this proposal. So you got a brewery on one side of town, you got a proposed brewery on the other side of town. Talk to me about traffic flow. And safety, because you're going to have, if this dream of yours comes to fruition, you're going to have a lot of cars in and out of there, a lot of cars turning off of Route 58. You're going to need sufficient turning radiuses for emergency vehicles. Talk to me about that.
I was under the assumption that there's plenty of parking in the strip mall.
What do you mean you're under the
That-
assumption?
It was a restaurant before, which was
Yes.
a 75-seat restaurant.
Mhm.
We plan on taking out, honestly, a big chunk of those seats. We really are, it's not, we're not going in for a sit-down restaurant, but mainly a takeout.
So how many seats?
It's a 75-seat restaurant. We cut down to probably half of that indoor. We're
So-
gonna take out a huge.
So call it
chunk.
40?
I
40
would think
seats?
so.
Yeah, on the high side, yeah.
We're gonna be taking away a chunk of the bar also.
But you will have a bar, correct?
Yes. Even if, we don't wanna turn it into where someone can come and sit at the bar.
How many seats at the bar?
I think there's,
19 stools.
yeah, I was gonna say 20, yeah. Sounds right. So we'll definitely be cutting back from that because we're figuring out configuration of the line flow. So probably honestly, that whole front of the bar those stools will probably be knocked out. We're still working out those kinks.
Well, we have to be very specific in our decisions. So should we grant you the special permit, we need to know these things. So I'm not looking to press you at sort of an early stage here, but I need to get some sense from you as to how wedded you are to these numbers. So I've just written down 40 seats. I've written down 20 bar stools. Is that excessive, or are you going to go less than that?
The seating that's on the little dining area, you can see those will be high tops. I would say cut back half of the bar.
So 10 stools?
Yeah,
Don't-
honestly,
don't
the idea is
cheat-
more.
Don't cheat yourself.
No, I know, for sure, but the vision.
Because
we
if you say
originally had-
10 and we write 10, you're going to be limited to 10.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you guys need to understand this.
yeah. It's definitely an interesting, the bar is a big chunk of the portion of the area, so walking in there, we're like, this isn't really what we visioned.
Give me a number.
I mean, if it was up to me, I'd want no seats. I'd want it to be a walk-up, you get your pour, then you kind of can congregate. It's not a
Daniel, do you
sense-
want no stools, like your brother is saying?
We've been kind of going back and forth on that, because we don't want it to be a thing where you can sit at a bar and order from a bartender. We want it to be more of a pour
I understand that.
service.
I
Yeah.
need numbers.
What do you say, like 8 on that long side? And then more of like, whatever we can do, a drink rail on the wall would be more preferable to keep traffic moving, so.
10 enough for you?
10's
Yeah,
fine.
let's say
We're
that.
good with that.
And seats? Counting the ones at the bar? We still talking 40?
For in A, it was 20 seats, and in B, it's 31 seating and standing.
So what do you want? I got 10 bar stools.
40? Yeah, stick to, yeah, I mean, 40.
Would that include the bar stools, guys, or not?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would
I'd say
include.
Okay. So based upon the number of seats that were in there when it was a restaurant, you're going to have basically half of the number of seats that that operation had.
Yes.
75 now versus 40.
Yeah. It's not a plan to staff an entire restaurant and have a whole service. It's gonna be kind of serve yourself, grab a seat where you can.
I think Ms. Mello's observation a moment ago was appropriate, which is, since you're still kind of scheming this out, you don't want to
Yeah.
sell yourself short either. Because when we put numbers on something, you're stuck with those
Yes.
numbers.
Because you can go higher and then
Right.
choose not to put in
Fair,
as
yeah.
much.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to go 40, you don't have to
Yeah.
go 10 bar stools, but you also want some wiggle room. So your plans are still evolving, your conversations are still occurring, so.
Yeah, I mean,
What about the picnic tables outside? Will those stay, or
We would love that, obviously, but I was told that would be another, so the owner, Chris, told me he was granted 60 seats out there during COVID. We would love that, obviously, that's our plan to utilize that whole area too. Does that fall under the same,
Well, it's a discussion that we need to have now.
yeah, okay.
I mean, you want 60 seats out there, and you're only going to have 40 inside, or up to 40
I'm
inside?
not saying, that Chris told us, that the owner of the building said he was granted 60 seats.
I don't know anything about that.
yeah.
Yeah.
We weren't sure if things changed because COVID's obviously not gone.
I can tell you that we never, to my memory anyway, never had a discussion with the previous owner about granting him relief for up to 60 seats outside.
Okay.
Now, maybe he was granted that permission, but it wasn't from these nice people you see up here.
Fair enough.
So what do you want to do with the outside? How many seats you want out there?
I mean, I think 60 kind of seemed excessive even at that end, so.
It seems quite large to me if you're going to be limiting yourself to 40 inside. Usually the seats outside are fewer than the seats inside.
Right.
I would imagine outside would be more standing room and.
Yeah, and games and whatnot, if we could get, yeah, I mean,
Cornhole.
yeah.
Cornhole, maybe a
Yeah.
guy on a guitar in the corner.
Right.
You know, stuff like that.
I mean, how many picnic tables are out there now?
There's
Like
like
8?
4 picnic
Four?
tables right
Yeah.
now.
How
So
many is
4
that?
and maybe 4 at each table, or 6 at each table?
6 at
Probably
each.
6.
6, that's 24.
Yeah.
No more than 24 outside, is that?
I would say, what,
40?
More
40
Yeah.
40? Okay.
Yeah.
40 what?
people.
outside.
It's more open
It
atmosphere.
is a big area. It would
It's a big
definitely fit.
area.
We're talking just seats right now, yeah? We're not talking
Yeah.
people.
On the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Four.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, now I think we're done with the seating.
Are you guys sure 40 inside's enough?
I think they answered that.
You don't want to go 10
Yeah,
more?
it doesn't seem like.
We really just don't know.
No,
Yeah, we
you're
don't want to
good.
stress him.
Chef doesn't want like a whole
Okay.
fully.
Yep.
so
Yeah,
I
they
think-
answered
You're
that.
like,
I'm-
no.
All right, now, has there been any contact with public safety concerning turning radiuses, getting fire engines in there?
Not yet. We've only done architect and engineering.
From what I know, I think when you first pull in on the left, that whole side is designated no parking or anything. So I'm under the assumption that would be considered a fire lane of some sort.
These fire trucks are quite
Because
large.
when you pull in, there's a large area out back to
Yep.
pull around, no parking spots.
We want to make sure that,
Yeah.
Mr. Gray, it says here on this Town
yeah,
of
I
Carver
saw that
Fire
before.
Department.
There is, and I forget whether I requested that letter that I have in my hand, or whether this was already generated, but in any event, May 7th, 2024, this is a memo from Assistant Deputy Chief Jesse Boyle of the Fire Department. And I'm only going to read the pertinent sections. It says, "The fire department has no concerns regarding the above special permit requests, provided a site plan review is conducted with the planning board." Have you been before the planning board yet?
No, I was told this was the first step.
Yeah, you know, it doesn't always have to be us first. So a comprehensive site plan review, the purpose of that is it will allow the planning board to get detailed comments from the fire department, because they'll have more to look at than we have. And this site plan review will also address any existing building or fire code violations. So since there's going to be a public, or since you want a public operation there, and because you're going to be inviting the public to come onto the premises, you hope, we want to make sure that public safety is comfortable with access and egress from that property. It's only being fair and reasonable and
Yeah.
appropriate, I believe. So it looks like the planning board is going to have to get involved, and anything that we do for you would be subject or conditioned on you obtaining site plan review with the planning board,
Okay.
okay? What about utilities in the property? Are they sufficient for what you want to do?
Yeah, absolutely. 'Cause-
Electric service?
Yeah, because it originally.
And
they had a
heating?
lot. Yep. heating,
Because this
AC.
area is going to have to be heat controlled for you to do what you want, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the existing.
And that's adequate for what you, the existing facilities are adequate for what you want to do?
Yeah,
Definitely.
because we're even taking out a lot of the equipment they were using. There was a massive pizza oven that drew a lot of power. We're taking that out. We're kind of pretty much substituting our brewing equipment for what was there.
Okay.
So, yeah.
You have very specific requirements given what you want to brew there?
Yep.
So I want to make sure that you don't get halfway down the road and say, oh my God,
Yeah.
we need more here.
Yeah, and it's all an electric system. It's pretty low for what it draws and can put out. So it's
Next, we're supposed to look at the neighborhood character and social structures. Forget about social structures, but the neighborhood character. This is a general business district anyway. I don't think this, speaking for myself now, is going to seem out of character because it's going to be off-road in an existing strip mall, if you will. Does anybody have any questions or concerns about the location in view of the neighborhood?
None.
No.
Okay. And impacts on the natural environment. Well, you're going to have, obviously, some traffic in and out of there. You're going to have people hopefully sitting on your picnic benches. But the number of those people that you'll be able to accommodate will be less than what the previous business was prepared to accommodate. So in terms of impact on the natural environment, I guess the only question I would have for you folks would be with regard to waste. What about waste disposal there? What are your plans?
So we've been working with Merrill Engineering for quite some time. As far as we are on a septic system, and we've come to the conclusion with the Board of Health and Merrill that any of our brewery wastewater will go to a holding tank that we will have that will be pumped from the premises. As far as our spent grains, like our byproduct of brewing, that's where local farms come in that we plan on gaining relationships with and dispose of it that way. There are companies that come and do it.
So you're going to have a
also
holding tank for your septic,
for the brewery wastewater.
and that's per the recommendation of the Board of Health? Or
Yes.
just the
Board of
health?
Health.
The Board of Health. Have you
Yeah.
been before the Board of Health already?
I've spoke with him numerous times
You mean
throughout the past couple
the
of
health agent, you mean?
Kevin?
That's the health agent.
Yeah.
He's not the Board of Health, although
Oh, okay.
he might as well be sometimes, I guess.
Is there a ready market for the grains, the leftover grains, and significant market to get rid of that?
Pigs love it.
Yeah.
They treat it as feed. Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't necessarily spoke with anyone local, but we know people in the industry that have definitely gone that route, so we would hope to just reach out to a couple in the area, and I'm sure they'd love to take care of it.
Okay.
Smell?
Delicious smell. Honestly.
Yeah, yeah, very minimal on any waste or any bad smells coming out of it.
What about the brewery wastewater?
That's where that would go into the tight tank. That's what they call it. That would get only.
There would be no water exposed to the surface, is that true?
Yes.
In other words, there'd be some sort of,
Oh, yeah, no, yeah. Nothing will hit the grounds.
okay.
Go all into the
It's-
tank, pipe pumped out anywhere. If not, we can buy
okay,
it.
and in the hose from the tank to, from the area where you're going to be brewing will go underground to the holding tank?
It's, yeah, all self-contained within the tanks through a pump
Okay.
right into the tank itself.
All right. So these are the things that we have to tick through, but for one more, and that's the potential fiscal impact to the town services, tax base, employment. So I want to inquire, this is going to be a very small operation, so you're not going to have many employees, are you?
Just us.
Just what you see here is what we plan on to start,
Okay,
with maybe an occasional beer pourer, which will be family, so,
okay, all right. I like beer.
perfect.
That's not a conflict of interest.
Hope you like to
Usually.
too.
What are you going to be doing, IPAs,
Pretty much everything.
ales?
ales, sours, stouts, IPAs.
Now,
kind of did everything.
you're very ambitious. That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
How many tanks you gonna have?
we're gonna probably look to have at least 4 or 5, but it's gonna be, like I said, on a micro scale, it's gonna be a 2-barrel system, maybe a double batch here and there, but we wanna ideally have 4 to 5 on tap at a time and not really exceed.
And how long have you been brewing?
Going on 6 years? Going on
Yeah?
6 years, yeah.
And where have you been brewing?
We started on the stove and then.
In my barn,
Yeah, bought a
in
1-barrel
Abington.
system in his barn.
Are either one of you married?
He is.
Like
I'm
our
about-
previous petitioner?
I'm about to be next year. He is now.
Congratulations.
Both have children, both have full-time jobs.
Good for you.
Chasing the dream.
Where are you working when you're not brewing?
I'm in local 103. He's a plasterer for himself.
4th generation plaster.
4th generation?
Oh, yeah, born right into it.
Good for you.
I was as well, but I stepped out of there.
He was the wise one.
Still
Right.
miss it somehow.
So I've been monopolizing the discussion on this one anyway, so I ask for questions or comments first from Ms. Cullum.
I'm good.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. And Mr. Barrington, who's wearing the slick shirt over there, what questions might you have, Mr. Barrington?
Well,
He likes beer too, by the way.
Unfortunately, you asked the questions that I was going to pose.
You mean
So I wish
unfortunately
you'd gone
or
to me
fortunately?
First, you know.
I should have. I should have. Mr. Poirier?
It sounds like a fairly comprehensive plan they've got here, so it's,
Now, they have a bit of a plan and a lot of dreams. Ms. Dahl?
I would just say, make sure you're secure with your seating before you give them a final number. That would just be my advice.
Ms. Mello?
I'm excited to see something go
Yeah.
in
Go
there.
in there.
Same.
yeah, absolutely.
Very, very
The
excited.
whole
She
town.
drinks a lot of beer.
Do you brew wine? Wait a minute, you don't brew wine.
Well, that is kind of a thing we talked about, to have a little little wine, little list.
We would love to offer wine. We've never brewed a seltzer either. We're thinking of taking that route, kind of please everyone, but still have our integrity, what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
Don't spread yourself too thin.
Yeah.
There's, is it open to anybody to speak?
You may speak your mind.
Mr. Mahoney wants to speak.
I will allow that to happen in a moment. Do you have anything else that you would like to add, gentlemen? When do you propose to begin this operation? How long is it going to take you to move in there and get going?
Most of the work is done. It's a lot of aesthetic things.
Nothing that was done by us. It was a previous person that fell through. So we kind of just picked up after that.
Oh.
The kitchen's in there, the bar's in there, the tap
Nice.
lines are in there. So we were ahead of the game because we were going to rent the space across, and we were from the ground up. So this put us a good bit ahead on our end, so it was a win-win.
Good.
So,
We're hoping fall.
Okay, that's the answer to the question.
yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask? I
Yes.
thought of something.
Oh, Mr. Barrington, he has a
Watch
very
out.
active mind. Go ahead.
Have you talked with the property owner as far as signage, lighting, what's going to change there?
We talked a little bit, we had a meeting, me, the property owner, and Rod in building. He was saying that, Rod was saying that the owner needed to kind of consolidate some signage out there. It was kind of their discussion, but.
This is a good question, and I do want to direct you to the building commissioner on any signage that you're going to be looking to do. We also have a sign bylaw here in town that if you exceed certain height requirements or overall size requirements, then you might have to come back before us for
We would
relief.
love what the existing sign that's on the front of the building, which you can't miss, we'd be happy with that.
Well, if you have no intention of adding or augmenting to the
No.
sign,
Nope.
then it's not going to be an issue,
Yeah,
especially for Mr. Barrington.
Okay.
Yeah, we were told we get the old Little Red Smokehouse one out front, and then what's on this building, so we'll just utilize that. No bigger, no smaller, hopefully.
And I presume you're going to be putting out some ads and doing a nice website and all of that
Social
stuff?
media,
Yeah.
I do all the merchandise,
Good.
trying to keep everything in-house.
Keeps the expenses down too, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Plan.
What are you going to have on the menu?
Jeff?
Who knows, yeah. We gotta get in there first, right? Probably stuff that you can't get in other places around here.
Where are you from originally?
England.
They have a lot of nice chefs in England, but the food there is way expensive, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, have you eaten out here lately?
Touche.
Especially where he works. Works at the Windsor House in Duxbury.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Head chef.
Yeah.
very nice, very nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Does anyone else have, Ms. Cullum has some questions.
He's chomping at the bit.
No.
No?
Mr. Barrington, do you have anything further?
I'm all set.
Mr. Poirier? No.
I'm good.
Ms. Dahl?
No, just what would your hours be? You guys gonna do like every day?
That's an excellent
or
question.
some-
No.
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
Probably plan the Wednesday
Thursday,
to
Friday.
yeah,
Yeah.
possibly Sunday, maybe a half day. Like, we still work.
So if we limited
I was
you,
gonna say, you're gonna keep
Yeah.
your day jobs for
Yeah.
a little bit, yeah.
so if we limited you to Wednesday to Sunday operation, that would be sufficient?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll work within that.
And what time would be opening and what time would be closing?
9?
4 to 9.
4 to 9, is that what you want?
But
We're going to write this in,
Saturdays-
so you tell us what you want.
You might wanna, yeah.
Yeah. 4 to 11
4 to 11,
on weekends?
I'd say so.
that's fair.
11?
4 to 11 every day.
Yeah, because we can shop.
What about earlier on
We can always go less.
Still in the building.
Yes, yeah, you can always do
Yeah.
less.
You want
That's right.
days on
We
weekends,
say
though,
we
right?
shot at 9, we got a shot at 8.
Yeah, right.
4 to 11,
But
Wednesday through Sunday.
Saturday noon to,
For now, no.
okay.
I mean,
If we need it on paper, we need it on paper.
do we need,
Well,
I mean, do we-
On the weekends, do you want it to be different?
Weekends, we'd like to do a
12?
day thing, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay,
Call it
So-
a Saturday.
Saturday,
So wait a minute, there's like 4 different people talking at one time.
Sorry.
So, what are your days?
Wednesday, Friday, 4 to 11. Saturday, do we just say 12 to 11?
Noon to 11?
Noon to 11.
So why don't we say Wednesday to Sunday? If you choose not to open on Thursday, so be it,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And 4 to 11 each day? Is that sufficient?
We get days on weekends though, right? Could we do a noon to later during the days on weekends?
On the Saturday?
Noon to 11.
Noon to 11 for those beer drinkers who like to start early. Right?
Some people
lunch.
gotta get home.
People gotta eat lunch.
So noon to 11 on
Saturday.
Saturday and Sunday,
Yeah.
12 to 11.
Steve, am I right that this special permit lasts for 2 years and that they could come back after 2 years and look for an expansion?
Yeah, for now, what we're doing, guys, is taking a snapshot, right? I mean, your business plans are still very much in a state of flux, right? I think the three of you would be the first to admit that. You have an idea about what you want to do. It may or may not come to fruition the way you see it. I think that you're going to get this place open, but it may not be finalized in terms of your overall plans. So for now, we're going to try to freeze frame this. And if you decide that you want to go beyond what we decide to grant you in a special permit, then you come back before us. But in 2 years, you're going to be subject to review anyway. So, is there anything else that you want to add to the picture? Ms. Dahl had an excellent question. Thank you for that.
Anything? No?
Nothing.
That's it?
Nothing. Nothing? Nothing. Nothing? Ms. Mello, nothing? Oh, she's going
Oh,
like this.
when could we do the site visit?
Why do you say you need a site visit?
Oh, I thought.
No, with the fire department.
Fire department?
That would be a planning board meeting.
That's a planning board meeting.
Okay.
And what I would suggest, and we'll talk about this when we go to a vote momentarily, is that you communicate with the fire department. Jesse Boyle, I think, who's the assistant chief is their main mover and shaker on these things.
Okay.
So you're going to want to kind of introduce this to them and say, hey, you know, we came before the ZBA and we're being told that we should go before the planning board and site plan review. And, you know, do you have anything that you want to add or anything that you feel you want to give us guidance on? Do you believe that we really do need a site plan review by the planning board in view of what the ZBA just did? These are questions that are beyond our jurisdiction,
Okay,
okay?
perfect.
Just give you some guidance.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything further?
No.
Gentlemen? Okay, does someone have a motion to close the hearing?
Do we want to open it to,
Yes,
The
I'm
audience.
sorry, that's right. Is there anyone here that would like to be heard?
I just want a quick comment.
All right, and this is Daniel
I stuck around.
Mall.
I haven't met these gentlemen. I stuck around because I rent a spot in 145 South Main Street.
Oh, really?
So I can kind of speak to how their operation, if you guys are familiar with Cornerstones. There's a lot of business in there that kind of shut down afternoon hours, so parking is going to be beneficial for them at night. And where there's nothing in that end of town, where Cornerstones, you've got the brewery, you've got Cornerstones, you've got Mount Mears close by. This part of town, I would, for me as a renter there, I'd love this. And with Erickson's reopening, it's gonna be great. It's gonna help beautify my building. And as far as the parking, he's correct when he said that left-hand portion when you pull in is no parking. I mean, the parking lot needs some work, but that's not on them, that's
Yeah.
on the landlord.
Right.
I've been to multiple fires there that we can get apparatus, but I'm not gonna speak to that. That's Jesse's job. He's the assistant. He's in charge of all the code
Yep.
enforcement. I just wanna kinda say, I wish you guys luck. I think it's gonna be a great idea.
Thank you so much.
And if you need any help,
Yeah.
I'm right down at the skylight, Scott.
So much.
Thank you.
Thanks for being patient.
Thank you.
Good man.
Okay. So, do we have anything further to discuss before I ask for a motion to close the hearing?
No?
Mr. Poirier, do you have a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
And Mr. Barrington, who's looking
Second.
very studious, do you have a motion as well? Second?
Second, yes.
All in favor to close the hearing?
Aye.
Okay. So now we have to vote on our findings and decisions. First, I propose the following finding. That the board finds that the benefits of the proposed use outweigh its detrimental impacts on the town and the neighborhood in view of the particular characteristics of the site and of the proposal in relation to the site. I ask for a motion to accept that finding based on the evidence that we've heard.
I'll make a motion to accept that finding.
Second? Ms.
Second.
Cullen, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now we go to the decision. I need to hear a motion to grant the special permit, subject to certain conditions which will be spoken of after we get through this.
I'll make the motion to grant the special permit with the conditions to be talked about afterwards.
All right, and per the application, this is a special permit so as to operate a brewery and kitchen for takeout and on-premises consumption in the general business district. Everybody understand that?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion passes unanimously as well. Now, conditions, gentlemen. This is the fun part. First, let's talk about operating hours. Anybody want to make a condition to the grant that operating hours be limited to Wednesday through Sunday, 4 to 11, except on the weekend, which will be 12 to 11 on Saturday and Sunday, the traditional weekend days?
Should we include Friday with that?
So Wednesday to Sunday, 4 to 11. They had asked specifically for Saturday and Sunday, 4 to 11. If we do a Friday, that means that, you know, they would be allowed to open at noontime on Friday.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's the weekend.
Well, Most people still work on Friday in the afternoon.
No, they don't.
Oh, you're, you know, Ms. Mello is a lovely person, but she's also retired.
So we know where she'll be on Friday.
Mr. Barrington is correct.
It's up to the board, but I feel that Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
They're not
constitutes-
asking for
They're
Friday.
not asking.
That's right.
They're not asking.
So unless you're asking, it's going to be Wednesday through Sunday, 4 to 11. I'm sorry, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 to 11, and then weekends, Saturday and Sunday from 12 to 11. Agreeable?
Agreed.
Okay. That would be the first condition that we need to remember. And I'm going to go through all these conditions again so that, we're not forgetting anything. Next condition would be regarding seating, which is why I was quizzing you closely on the number of seats. The interior will be limited to 40 seats, which will include no more than 10 seats at the bar. Is that agreeable?
Agreed. Agreed.
Okay. That would be condition number 2 that I would mention. Number 3, that looking for that letter here, that you seek a comprehensive site plan review with the planning board with comments from the fire department concerning any public safety issues. That would be number 3, condition number 3. And condition number 4 would be that you install a holding tank for the brewery wastewater, and that the grains, the waste grains, be disposed of, how should we put this, in a reasonable period of time. I know the objective is to get it off to local farms, which is great, but we want to make sure that we get all of that stuff out of there, the
Yes.
wastewater and the grains. So that would be condition number 4. Is that right, Ms. Cullum? I forget the number that I'm up to. Does anyone else have any other conditions that they would like to?
Did you add the
the
picnic
seats
tables
outside?
outside?
Outside, limited to 40 at tables. So 40 in, 40 out.
Mm-hmm.
And
Agreed.
that 40 in is to include the 10 at the bar. No more than 10 at the bar.
Agreed.
Yeah. I mean, the fire department's going to want to know all this stuff anyway, so you guys, need to be prepared. So if it feels as if I'm pinning you down, it's with good reason and it's for your benefit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you.
What else? Any other conditions?
None.
Ms. Mello, you sure?
I was going to talk about seating.
Seating?
Yeah, we did. We covered it.
We covered it.
Yep.
So we've got let's recapitulate. Condition number 1 is operating hours. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 to 11. Saturday and Sunday, open 12, close 11. That's number 1. Number 2 is seating. Going to be limited to 40 seats inside, which will include no more than 10 stools at the bar. Okay? Good?
Yep.
All right. Outside seating at the tables that are there, no more than 40. Good?
Yep. Good.
Next is the planning board
Site plan
requirement.
review.
Site plan review
With the fire department.
for the fire department to comment on. And that is the third one. I thought of another one. And the fourth one would be to install the holding tank per the requirements of
The wastewater?
for the wastewater, per the requirements of the health department.
Yes.
right? And disposal of, what do you call them, waste grains?
Yeah, so that'll be working with local farmers.
Right. And to get those out of there ASAP.
Yeah, those can sour and smell.
All right, so that's 4. Have I left anything out, ladies and gentlemen? Everybody good?
Did you do the 40 seats outside?
I did. I did.
Okay.
And we're covered with the signage?
Yeah, until you propose a sign that is outside the parameters of the Carver zoning bylaw, you will not need to do anything other than take over the existing signage, which, as I understand it, was your position anyway, that you're not looking to add, you're just looking to use the signage which is already there and put your name on it,
Yeah, correct.
right?
Yes.
So those will be the conditions. And also, I want to add a final condition, subject to the plans of record, right?
Correct. Yep. That
So-
means the plans that you submitted tonight are what they will be using as the footprint.
Okay.
And I do want to interject one note of caution about plans. We've had people propose plans that have come before us that we've reviewed and we've granted relief on. They needed some sort of dimensional relief or whatever. And then somehow, some way, those plans get changed after we make a vote. And they go before the building commissioner, who reviews the plans before issuing the permit and says, my goodness, these plans have changed in the interim. We can't, I'm not going to approve this. So when we say subject to the plans of record, we mean it for your own good.
Yep.
If you change these plans, you're back to step 1.
Okay, fair enough.
Got it? So that's why we're being as specific as we can with you in an effort to prevent that from happening.
Understood.
And I think from a zoning perspective, we have covered everything that we need to cover with these gentlemen.
Would they have to go through those plans and white out everything that they're taking out, like the extra stools at the bar and all that stuff?
I would suggest that you probably consider doing that.
Yeah.
If your
Just-
plans are
just-
changing based upon our conversation
Yeah.
this evening, make sure that the plans that you present are consistent with the decisions that we're making tonight. Thank you again for that, Ms. Dahl.
Thank you.
Everybody good on these 4 conditions? Actually 5 when we talk about the plans. Yes?
Yep.
All in favor? Actually, no, we
Okay,
need a
make a
motion
motion.
first. And Mr. Poirier's anxious to make that motion.
Make a motion to accept the
5 conditions.
5 conditions as we have outlined them.
I'll
Do we have a
that.
second?
I'll second.
Ms. Cullum seconds. Any further discussion? Last chance. Any further discussion? Everybody good? All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, so you still have some work to do, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I don't
That's
mean,
gonna be
I don't mean
done.
at the site, I mean with the planning board.
Yes. We'll
All
get
right.
right on it.
And you're done here, you're done with the health department. So you're going to get together with planning and public safety. I think that's
Perfect.
the next step. In the meantime, you continue to do what you need to do to get ready to open.
Will they get a copy of this? Will they see a copy of this decision here?
Of course. Yeah, I write these decisions usually. So, yes, and Ms. Mello, why don't you give your usual speech about what happens from here?
Okay. As Mr. Chairman said, he'll write the decision. He gets it back to the permitting department within a very timely manner. I would say no later than Monday, maybe Tuesday. Once it is stamped as received, there is a 20-day appeal period where you just have to sit and wait. Once that appeal period is done, if no one appeals the decision, you're able to pick up the decision and take it to the registry of deeds, and have it recorded. Okay, and then it becomes finalized and you're good to go.
All right.
If you haven't heard from, let's see, Monday is the 13th. If you haven't heard from the planning department by like mid-June, I'm sure you'll be keeping tabs on them. You know, second week in June, reach out to them and see if the 20-day appeal period's over.
Okay.
Okay, because sometimes they forget to get back in contact.
Okay.
So you kind of keep a timeline on your own, and if you haven't heard from them, reach out.
Okay, so don't reach out to planning board until,
No, you can start that process. You
Oh,
can start that
okay.
process. That has nothing to do with what we've done here
okay,
tonight.
all right.
Okay?
Yeah, perfect.
We operate in our own little universe. And we have not too much communication with the planning department regularly for legal reasons. These cases have to come to us clean with no previous communication other than the setup for the hearing and the notice, because we don't want anybody alleging, not that they would in your case, but we don't want anybody saying that, you know, we're not impartial because we've been spoken to already. Right, guys? So, we're very pleased to have met you tonight.
Appreciate
We
it.
wish you nothing but the best, and rest assured that I'm going to be there one night for some beer and food.
Looking forward to having it.
All right,
Come
John, thank you.
forward.
Thank you so much.
Good
Right
evening.
on.
Good evening.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Good luck.
All right, I have a couple of things before we adjourn. I see Ms. Dahl is already packed up, ready to go. Say hello to John for me. I will. Before we began tonight, we had 8 open cases. The 3 tonight, we have 3 at the end of this month, and at least 2 more that you folks don't know about yet, but that I was just advised of. Now, what this means is that we're not going to be doing 5 cases at the end of May. We're going to do the 3 that have been scheduled, and then we're going to do the other 2 sometime in June. So I need to speak to you folks, excuse me, about a date in June that would work for you all, so that we can get these other 2 applicants' cases heard on a timely basis. June dates, please.
June,
Well, we're normally the second Wednesday in the month,
Which is the 12th.
which is the 12th.
The chair has the discretion to schedule based upon the scheduling prerogatives of members, individual board members. So what we usually do doesn't actually have to happen. Depends on when we can get together. But we start with the second Wednesday
Yep.
to see if that works. And does it work?
Yep.
yep,
That would be June what?
12.
Mr. Poirier?
Let's see, June 12th is a go.
Ms. Mello?
I'm good.
Ms. Dahl?
Yeah.
Okay. So our June meeting, and please note your respective calendars accordingly, will be on the 12th. The meeting before that will be May 29th. There are 3 cases on our docket for May 29th. You don't have very much information on those yet because I
Point of order?
haven't sent it out.
Point of order?
Yeah.
Aren't we also going to have a continued case from this meeting? Or does that, those 3 include that one?
No. We have 3 new cases from March 29th, plus the continued case, as Mr. Poirier just said, so it'll be 4. Plus 2 more that I know
Okay.
in June. So what I want to tell everybody is that I have about a dozen emails teed up and ready to go to each of you tomorrow. These emails will cover various attachments relating to each of the 3 new cases, so that you can familiarize yourself with any issues before the evening of the 29th, which will be at least as long as tonight's evening. Okay? One of those cases is a sign case, One of them is a Save the Pine Barrens case, and one of them is an Elks Club case, which is coming to locate its club near the airport on the Carver side, plus the continued case from this evening. So we have some interesting cases coming up that I think all of you will be able to sink your teeth into. So those 4 on May 29th, and I just kind of wanted to give you a heads up that these emails are going to be sent tomorrow. They're ready to go. Just didn't want to hit the send button tonight when we had all of this stuff that we had to deal with. And then after the May 29th date, I will send the new material on the 2 cases coming in for the June meeting. Okay? So that's what's coming up. I don't think it's all that unusual for our workload to pick up, especially this time of year when people are looking to do construction after emerging from hibernation, right? So that's what we're going to be doing on May 29th. 3 new ones plus 1 continued one.
Okay.
And look for that tomorrow. You'll also be getting a separate email from me with our case decisions from tonight, 2 of which Ms. Mello will be writing, and I will be writing this last one because there's more there that, there's more there that I'm going to have to address. The other 2 cases we should be able to address fairly quickly without getting into pages and pages of decision writing.
One of the cases I won't be writing up
Right,
yet.
he's only got 1.
Because.
Because you had a continuance on that first one. But that first one will eventually be one that you'll be writing. That's the one on which I'm recused anyway. I can't
Yep.
write it. I'm
Yep.
prohibited. Okay, so does anybody have any question about what's coming? Good. Now, I have something else to mention, and that is, actually 2 things. We have a town meeting now scheduled for June 4th. That's a continued town meeting, too. So if you folks are interested and public-minded enough, I would recommend that you attend so that you can find out what's happening once we emerge from our own cocoon. Okay? Should you decide to speak at town meeting, I urge you to speak on behalf of yourself and not on behalf of this board. The only one who's authorized to do that is yours truly. And I wouldn't do it without checking with you folks first. So, I'm sure you'll have opinions about what's going to be brought up that evening. Just make sure you specify, if you do go to the bike, that you're speaking for yourself and not for the ZBA. Got it? Last. We now have a new town administrator waiting to take up the reins, and he will be starting on May 14th. So we're about 1 week away, right? And I have been notified and invited to attend a meet and greet for the new town administrator, whose name is Glenn Cannon. He's coming from Rochester, which is a town about half the size of Carver. And he's going to be available to meet and greet next Tuesday from 3:30 to 5. Now, I can tell you all that I'm definitely going to attend if Mr. Barrington decides to wear that shirt again. No, I've been teasing him mercilessly.
Hope he washes it first.
Yes. But I think it would be a good idea to show the colors. Ms. Mello, I hope you can attend. This would be May 14th, 3:30 to 5. You can call me or email me and let me know when you're going to be going, and we can go together if you would like. May 14th from 3:30 to 5.
You know, as a retired
It will be in this
person-
room here, too.
Yeah, as a retired person, her days are very busy.
Yeah, there's something going on there.
I'm on a golf league on Tuesdays.
Well, what time are you done?
I
You're
don't
not
take-
golfing until 5.
Yeah, it's a late afternoon league.
Well, when does it start? 4?
I think my tee time's like 4:15.
Well, then you have a few minutes to go to the meet and greet. Ms. Dahl, would you like to accompany me? But you're working, right?
I will actually have to check. My dad has some doctor's appointments that
Okay.
I've been helping out with. I'll check and see.
Ms. Cullen, You're
Oh,
working.
yeah, I'm working.
You and I are the full-timers here, and Ms. Dahl as well. Mr. Poirier, would you like to go?
I have a very heavy social calendar. I can't commit to anything beyond tomorrow.
He's golfing.
And that's true, and it doesn't have to do with golf, and we don't need to get into that. Mr. Barrington, however, is going to be my date, right?
Where are we meeting?
It's going to be in this room.
In this
Mr.
room?
Barrington.
Okay.
This room. All right? So, what time would you prefer? If you're going to do it, what time would you prefer, Ms. Mello?
My tea time is at 4. It really, it's at 4:40. I could
Oh, you got
prob-
plenty of time then.
Right, 3:30,
You want to be there right?
right at the beginning, yeah.
And Mr. Barrington, can you be available at 3:30?
Yes.
All right, I'm not going to ask Ms. Dahl to confirm at this time, or Ms. Cullum or Mr. Poirier, but please let me know. I will look forward to seeing Mr. Barrington, as I always do, at 3:30 on May 14th, together with Ms. Mello. Mr. Barrington, you okay for 3:30?
Yes, perfect.
You know, maybe there'll be pizza there.
Think so?
And
Oh,
where
maybe.
is the meet and greet? Is it right here?
Third time,
I'm sorry.
right here in this room.
All right.
That's if you choose to go. But I think it would be a good idea because he's trying to get around and introduce himself, and it's the appropriate thing to do. I have 3 files that need to be brought back to the planning department. Anybody volunteer?
I'll do it, and if anybody has their signed documents, I will also take those and return them where needed.
Sure.
If you want to leave them with me.
Yep.
That's Bill.
So we keep one of them, right?
You're looking at the clock when you said that.
We're still in the meeting. We haven't adjourned yet.
It's okay, I can still ask how he's doing.
Oh, he's fine.
Good.
Hold on.
Is that the same?
And no, I think you have to sign and return all 3.
Okay.
To go back.
Yeah, they all go back.
Okay.
If, look, if you need some time to review this,
Yeah, feel free.
I'm good.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just offered to
you
help.
give her a little power.
I just offered to help, that's all. So they don't
You
have to
know
worry
I'm
about it.
teasing you, Ms. Mello.
I'd rethink that date next week if I were you.
Maybe it'll rain, and, you won't be pressed for time.
I know. It's been raining a lot.
It has
A lot of
been.
rain.
So we good with this information? Everybody know what they need to be thinking of?
Yep.
This is not a requirement. I'm not asking anybody to do it. It's what you feel you would like to do. Okay. Does anyone else have any further information that they would like to go over, or any other points they would like to discuss? We've talked about scheduling. We talked about the meet and greet. Is there anything else?
Nope.
Just
Dahl,
a
you
motion.
Mm-hmm.
Just a motion, and Mr. Poirier has learned beautifully to give motions. And he does this because he wants the meeting to hurry up and get over so he can go and watch the Celtics tonight.
Bruins.
Bruins, I beg your pardon. It's every other night. So, Mr. Poirier,
I would like to make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Good night, Carver.